Hey guys, it's Anime OGsan, and here are my picks for 2023. It was an interesting year with its ups and downs, but there were some gems, and here's a recap in case you don't want to go through all the old videos. In this video, I'm only focusing on new shows, meaning that I'm not including continuations, second seasons, and so on, just shows that got their first anime adaptation. The winter season didn't have any standout shows, but there were two that I enjoyed watching. I started this channel in the middle of the spring season, so this will be new material. The first was Ooyukiumi no Kaina, or Kaina of the Great Snow Sea. Kaina is a young man who lives among the dying community of the canopy, which is like a giant organic bubble in the atmosphere. One day, he saves Liliha, a young woman who has traveled up from the surface, which is covered by an ocean of cloud-like snow. She is the princess of Atlant, and has come to the canopy in search of the fabled sage, in hopes that he can help her save her country and her world. I'm generally not a fan of computer animated shows. The animation is usually clunky, the facial movements and lip sync are usually stiff and unnatural, and they usually play less with framing and angles. But it wasn't too bad in this show, and I stuck with it because they created a novel world that kind of reminded me of the sort that come out of the mind of Miyazaki Hayao. There's a sense of adventure and discovery, exploring fantastical new areas and infiltrating an enemy base to save a companion, and seeking to unlock an ancient mystery that may upend the world as they know it. The second is Hikari no O, or the Fire Hunter. This one is also set in a unique world, set in a distant future where humans will combust in the presence of fire, and so human civilization has adapted to a more primitive way of life without it. A young villager, Toko, is wandering the woods when she comes across a fire hunter in battle against the Fire Fiend, a monster of otherworldly fire whose blood is the only source of fuel in the world. The hunter saves Toko, but dies in the process, and Toko is given the task of delivering the hunter's belongings and his dog, Kanata, to the capital, where his family lives. In a parallel storyline, the hunter's son, Koshi, and his sister are adopted by a wealthy family, and he conducts research on a firestone discovered by his father, while discovering the secrets of the ruling family, society, and the world. Things picked up during the spring season, and two really stuck out for me. The first was My Home Hero. The first episode starts off with a middle-aged salaryman, Tosu Tetsuo, trying to connect with his rebellious college student daughter, and discovers that her boyfriend is beating her. He learns that the boyfriend is part of a criminal organization and has killed before. The season develops as Tetsuo will do whatever is necessary to protect his family. I thought it was really well paced, with plenty of suspense, lots of scheming and plot twists, and humor thrown in the mix. The second was Kimi wa Houkago Insomnia, or Insomniacs After School. Insomnia tells the story of two high schoolers, Nakami Ganta and Magari Isaki, who are in the same class at school, and unbeknownst to each other, both suffer from insomnia. While Ganta is tasked with getting cardboard boxes from the stairs near the legendary haunted observatory at school, he and Nisaki discover each other's secret and also take solace in having a kindred spirit. It's a slow but well-paced story about pain, young love, and healing. Honorable mentions for the spring go to Jigokuraku, Tengoku Daimakyou, or Heavenly Delusions, and Oshi. The summer was the low point, and it was painful watching 3 episodes of all these shows that didn't amount to anything. But the one high point was Zom 100. It started off strong, kinda slowed down toward the end, but overall was a pretty good show. In Zom 100, Tendo Akira is a 24-year-old corporate zombie at a black production company. That is, until an actual zombie outbreak occurs, and instead of falling into despair, Akira realizes that he no longer has to go to work, that he's been freed. And with this freedom, he's determined to do all the things he wanted to do, and picks up some friends along the way. The art and animation are dynamic, the use of color adds extra flavor, and the story is simple but fun. The current fall season is at least on par with the summer, with some really outstanding anime. The first is Urasawa Naoki's Pluto. The story is a suspense/murder mystery set in a world where humans and robots coexist. The story follows Kezist, a Europol robot detective, who discovers a possible connection between the deaths of a beloved mountain guide robot and a human. Both bodies have been decorated with horns around their heads. It seems that the perpetrator is just getting started, and Kezist finds that he may be a target himself. The story explores robots, artificial intelligence, what it means to be human, and war. If you're a fan of science fiction, or just like really good storytelling, you should check it out. Pluto was my favorite of the year, and if you liked it and you want to see a comparison of the anime with the original manga source material, check out my last video. The more popular choice for anime of the season is Sousou no Frieren, or Frieren Beyond Journey's End. The story follows Frieren, an elven mage who was a member of the Heroes Party that defeated the Demon King after a 10-year quest. Having accomplished their quest, they parted ways after watching a meteor shower together, and she agreed to see them again in 50 years, when the next one is supposed to occur. And this is where the story begins, 50 years later. As an elf who can live hundreds or thousands of years, the 10-year quest and 50-year separation was not very long to her. But now her comrades are old, and the hero Himmel dies of old age shortly after seeing her again. She realizes how short human life is and regrets not getting to know him better. She agrees to teach magic to and take care of Fern, an orphan adopted by the priest Heiter, and is later joined by the warrior Stark, who was raised by the dwarven warrior Aizen. They set off to reach the resting place of the souls so that she can see Himmel again and give him a proper farewell. Despite the fantasy setting, there isn't much action. It's more reflective, with many flashbacks of Frieren's time during the 10-year quest with her former companions, and their growth through that period. Another one I liked was Under Ninja. In Under Ninja, there are organized ninjas still operating in modern Japan. Kumogakure Kuro is one such ninja, but he's so low ranked that he's basically a NEET. He's idling around his apartment when he gets a visit from Kato, a higher ranked ninja from the association, who gives him a mission to infiltrate a high school and also to investigate a foreigner who's been cutting off the chimpos of public urinators. The high school is suspected of having ties with a hostile underground ninja organization, Under Ninja. I like the muted, matte anime style like they did with Chainsaw Man. There's plenty of action and humor, and a good cast of characters with more gritty and unique art sensibilities. They have changed some small details in the stories from the manga, which I have to wonder why they did, and I guess we'll have to wait until the end of the season to find out. There is one episode left in the season, and if you haven't read the manga, it's going to be a shocker. An honorable mention for the fall goes to the Yuzuki family's 4 sons. Okay, those were my picks for the 2023 anime year. If you're looking for a good anime to binge during the holiday season, these would be a good place to start. On a last note, I've been busy with school lately, but the worst is behind me, and I should be able to get out videos at a slightly faster pace from now on. The last video got a whole bunch of views, which was unexpected but really gratifying, and I have a handful of scripts more like that I'm working on, so I hope you'll all look forward to the channel going forward. Happy holidays.